maybe with what I'm going to say, I might hurt some feelings because this is a sensitive topic among Madrid fans, right? Because there's a lot of polarization. I see a lot of polarization in this. But I think it's compatible to say one thing with the other because it seems like either you think it's great or you think it's extremely overrated by the press. And why not both things? Because I think it's both things. And I will soon give my reasons why I think that in Spain it had a lot of marketing and very good press. And I'm going to explain why from my humble point of view as a journalist with over 20 years in the media, and I know the industry and the profession. And on the other hand, well, doing what he's doing at 17 years old is incredible. Let's see, if I haven't even said hello, forgive me, welcome everyone. I think that at this age, denying that what he is doing is a historical anomaly is absurd to deny. It is absurd. I'm going to give you an example that perhaps some might relate to, and I don't know. I don't really want to change minds or ways of thinking here, okay? But imagine for a moment that this same Lamine Yamal was playing. Well, look, in Monaco, like Mbappé played back in the day at the same age. By the way, Mbappe had my best numbers, and right away we show it. I mean, so we don't get too carried away. And then also, I'm going to compare with some things from Vinicius to see how things are measured in the press differently depending on the nationality of the footballer and the jersey they wear, right? Well, imagine that this Lamine Yamal was at Monaco in the semi-finals and had given the performance he did yesterday against Inter Milan. By the way, the MVP of the match was Dumfries, not him. But well, they could have given it to Lamine Yamal as well. And let's say, well, what would we be saying? Well, what did we say back then, right? In the year 2017, Florentino signed Mbappe. In the year 2017, that he was 17 years old, right? Back then, of course. And that summer, Paris Saint-Germain signed him with that loan with the obligation to purchase the following year. Well, in the same summer in which Paris Saint-Germain signed Neymar, etc., and he was practically signed, which later Emery, who was at the time the coach of the Parisian team, acknowledged that the Monaco deal with Real Madrid was done, but they convinced the father at the last moment, so the kid would sign for his hometown team, etc., etc. The rest is history. But what were we asking for? What were we asking for? And that Mbappe was not very different from this Lamine Yamal, in the sense that we saw that he was a 17-year-old kid and we said, my goodness, where is this guy going to end up? The following year, he was winning a World Cup. Well, the same thing. If now Lamine Yamal were playing for Monaco, what would we be asking? What would we be saying? No? Florentino, sell Rodrigo and sign this amazing player. Yes or no? Heck, yes or no? Whoever tells me, no. Okay. Because some might think, no. Well, some, right? I don't know. No, we wouldn't be saying that. I think they are deceiving themselves. I honestly think so, because here, I understand that, and to not be like them, to not be like the Barcelona fans who denied that the Ballon d'Or last year belonged to Vinicius. To not be like them, well, I think it's important to take off the scarf a little bit, honestly, damn. It's okay. I know I'm going to receive some hate in some comments, but it's that, I don't know, I think it's deceiving oneself, honestly. Because if at the time it seemed very strange to us in his era, the year 1994, that a kid like Raúl at 17 was already playing in the first team at Real Madrid, it's that Lamine Yamal moved up at 15. And well, he does some little things and already wins a Euro Cup with Spain, and now he has to win this with Barca, right? He has to win this with Barca, well, to win a Super Cup and a King's Cup are very good, but he has to win a Champions League. But now I go with the topic of the hype by the press and the comparisons that are unfair, because that place they now give to Lamine Yamal earned. Because I insist, yesterday the guy lifted his team, a 17-year-old kid lifting his team that was losing at home 0-2. That place, well, they haven't given it to Vinicius when he deserved it at another age, right? Vinicius, it also needs to be said, right? It also needs to be said because Vinicius, when he arrived at Real Madrid at 18 years old, we all agreed on this. He was very raw and started doing things that made us say, my goodness, this man. But then we granted Vinicius because it cannot be otherwise. And anyone who doesn't do this will be making the same mistake that some are making with Lamine Yamal right now, who it's about not acknowledging Vinicius. And this happens to many from Barça, many from Atleti, many from Valencia, many from Sevilla. We have many enemies, you know. It happens that they never recognized him. It's the ability to learn, to improve, incredible, which is part of football history as well, which Vinicius has experienced and executed without a doubt. And it came to him a little later, but he did it. And I say this because it really catches my attention that now moving to the media topic and the hype around Lamine Yamal, something astronomical is being talked about. I say again, for his age, yes, and it's amazing, but is for having started in the first leg, a great match, the first leg of the Champions League semi-finals, when Vinicius last year did not just play one match. Lamine Yamal indeed has had other good ones, but the display of Vinicius in the last Champions League, at least, it awarded him the category of indisputable footballer of the year, indisputably. But not only was he content with having a great Champions League, he also played an incredible game in Munich, first leg of the semi-finals, and incredible in the return leg of the semi-finals at the Bernabeu, and then the final, with a goal in the final, and 2 years before another goal in the final too. I mean, Vinicius came from all that. But the harsh words that are being said now about Lamine Yamal, about whom they say, and many are doing it, Marca newspaper, AS newspaper, he is the best footballer in the world. Maybe right now he could be the most informed footballer in the world, but Vinicius was also last year. But for whatever reason, a large part of the media found it very difficult to say that phrase. And then when he was about to win the Ballon d'Or, let's not say there was even the opposite, a campaign against him. This is more than evident, and this will not happen if Lamine Yamal arrives in the same conditions as Vinicius to the Ballon d'Or this coming October, November. Because I am talking about Spanish journalism, there is a campaign for, placing this young man at the top, which has to do with the national team. He plays for the Spanish team. And I would no longer say because he plays for Barça and the other plays for Madrid, but because Vinicius, which will also have an influence, is because Vinicius has always been disliked. And this boy, with reasons to quite a few, right? Also disliked for his statements the other day, for the eccentricity of his father, for his little dances. It's just that you can see the fact that Lamine Yamal dances and nothing happens, and Vinicius danced and there was a problem. So much so that a debate was sparked about whether dancing was provocative. Have you seen any debate about whether Lamine Yamal provokes when he dances? Well, from there we understand everything, I think, right? And I don't want to speak badly about the kid. I don't want to speak badly about Lamine Yamal, but that double standard really bothers me a lot because it's obvious. He talked about the match against Bayern last year, but just look. Vinicius exhibitions like Lamine Yamal's yesterday, he has done many and also with a greater number of goals. The 4-1 against Barcelona in the Spanish Super Cup, not this past one, the previous one, with 3 goals. So tell me what that is, right? In bad years or not so good ones for Real Madrid and not so good for Vinicius, his Champions League was incredible, in which we lost in the semi-finals with Manchester City. Look, in all the matches he played in that Champions League, goal, assist, goal, 2 goals, plus assist, 1 assist, 2 assists, 1 assist, plus goal. I mean, an incredible Champions League. And it was a bad Champions League for Madrid and not so good for Vinicius. And, against Borussia the same year. In a bad year for Vinicius against Borussia, look at how he turned it around in the match in that 5-2 against the German team in the group stage, right? How Real Madrid turned that game around at home and the undeniable role of Vinicius, right? But for some reason, it's never talked about. Yes, you can talk about performance and such, but I don't know. They use strong words like the best footballer in the world, indisputably. it has never been done unanimously by the press as it is now, it seems to me, right? And well, I have here some data that I was going to talk to you about, which is this, about the numbers of Mbappe and Lamine Yamal at the same age. Lamine Yamal surpasses Messi and Cristiano at 17 years old, but also surpasses them by far more than Messi than Cristiano. Cristiano had better numbers than Messi at the age of 17. And Lamine Yamal is already incredible compared to them, especially because he has played 100 matches, right, with 18 goals, 21 assists, which is already incredible. And Lamine Yamal will keep scoring more goals, right, because he's headed that way. And if he doesn't get sidetracked too much, this boy is going to be, well, what we're saying, he's going to be tremendous. Well, Madrid will have to compete against them. It's okay. We have already competed against Messi. And hey, we have won. It was the period in which Madrid won more Champions Leagues. It's okay. You compete. There's no problem. But look, at those 17 years, or with those 17 years, Mbappe had played 46 matches, meaning half, and had 10 more goals and 13 fewer assists, but 10 more goals with half of the games, right? So, well, this can be interpreted in many ways. When they want to sell us that we had never seen anything like this at 17 years old, I have said that it's historic. It's historic in the case of Lamine, in the case of Spanish football. Lamine Yamal is Spanish, but well, there have already been footballers. I don't know what numbers Pelé had at that age. Pelé already won a World Cup at 18 years, right, with Brazil. In Sweden, 58. I am speaking from memory. Maybe I'm getting confused. I don't know if he had these numbers, but let's see what prodigies we have seen now lately. Well, Mbappe and Lamine Yamal, and in Yamal's case, it's because he has played more matches, because he has a more significant presence in a team, that if we compare him with Mbappe at that age, Monaco is more important than Monaco. Football Club Barcelona by Champions won as well. I mean, I think it's evident that it is. I mean, you won't find me now. I am. Come on, I hate Barca just like you do, and all the cheating they've been doing lately, and the Negreira thing, all that. I think it's beyond doubt that I have to remind you of it right now because, you know, my channel, all right? But when I say that Barca is a more important team than Monaco, it's because it is. And having played twice as many matches at the same age is very important, beyond the numbers of goals and assists, right? But, well, the numbers are there. And the other reading is that maybe he stalls because Mbappe, well, years later he started another incredible World Cup final in which he scored 3 goals, but Argentina won. But it's true that Mbappe experienced a stagnation in the Champions League with Paris Saint-Germain, and that he could, at his current age, having achieved many more things than he has, especially in terms of Ballon d'Or awards. Well, it is strange that Mbappe has not yet won a Ballon d'Or. Maybe he chose the wrong team. Maybe he picked the wrong moment to join Real Madrid. But it is an indication that this could also happen to Lamine Yamal. Who knows where this boy is going, right? But, well, that's why. Excellent. And double standards with respect to other footballers due to nationality and the team he plays for. Inflated by the press. I think it's compatible with the other one. And that's all. Well, that was all I had to say on this topic, because it's a delicate subject that maybe I can avoid simply to not get some dislikes or comments against what I think and what I'm saying. But man, look, it's a rule on my channel, right? From the beginning, to say what I think and not have to agree with you directly. That with respect, you tell me what you think, whether you agree or not, and that's it. That's what this game is about. Have a great time. Give a like if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Please comment, share, and that's it. See you in the next one. Bye.